Hello, today I have a message called Give to All of Your Divine Siblings. Starting with it's okay when you feel the borders between you more than you see your sameness. That's the opportunity. That's where we get to, I don't know, I kind of wanted to say dig in, but I also kind of want to be provided for different words. And that's where we get to float in what we are together. I don't know. I'm not quite finding the right words, but that's the opportunity. When we feel that tension or that stress, it doesn't mean that anything's wrong with the situation, with that other one, with you, except for my own thinking. That's the only thing that's wrong, right? But that's the point. That's the portal for the healing to come in. That's the portal for the changed perception to come in. That's the portal for the love to come in. That's the portal for what I can give, the idea of giving, what I can give, what you can give in any situation. That point when we notice the borders between us, that feeling of bumping up against something or being unsure or stress or tension in some way, that's it. That's where right behind it there's this window that can open, and stuff, for lack of a better word, helpful stuff can come in for all of us, for both of us. So it's kind of like retraining to see this moment when I feel the border between what I think is me and someone else, and I feel the tension of that, to see that as a beautiful opportunity. Now here's where everything can be reversed. Here's where you can be shown. Here's where they can be shown. Not in the sense that I have to show them anything or convince them of anything or show up in a certain way, but truly everyone in every situation can be shown something in a very helpful way if we just say yes to what's here for all of us in every situation. And that very moment where we notice, I'm feeling criticism, I'm feeling a lack of ease, I'm feeling uncertainty, that's the moment. There it is. That's where all the help can come in. And what's true about us is our sameness. So just taking a moment to rest right there. There seem to be so many things we see about us that are different, but the truth about us is our sameness. And it's not a sameness of body, it's not a sameness of personhood, it's not a sameness of past. It's the sameness of our nature. And what is that sameness? Well, I have the same innocence you have. You have the same sanity I have. We have the same harmony between us, amongst us, holding us, that all those other guys seemingly over there have. All of us have the same grace. All of us are the same love. All of us are the same light. All of us as beings, forgetting the persons, the pasts, and the bodies, and the actions, all of us have and are the same truth, not a truth of time or space that you would lay out and say, this is my truth, and I either disagree or agree or disagree with that truth. Not a mental type of thing, but just like the truth of the light of us. That's just here. That's just us. That's just with us. That's just for us. All the time. It never goes away. So in that moment when I seem to bump up against something and it doesn't feel good, that's the illusion. That's the illusion I wanted to see. I can't bump up against an illusion unless I wanted to see it. And what does that illusion hide? That illusion hides what can never change. That illusion hides our sameness. That illusion hides truth. It hides love. It hides light. It hides sanity. And when I remember, all I want is the coming forward. And being made obvious, for truth to step forward and make itself obvious, for love to step forward and run things, for light to step forward in us both, and to be in charge of everything we see, everything we experience. That's what I want. That's a good moment to see, I don't want all the conflict I wanted before. I actually wanted conflict. Now I want this. And now for something completely different, which is our sameness is what's completely different from what we wanted before. So feeling the dysfunction leads to seeing their sameness. Anyone I'm looking at it, their sameness with me, or if I'm looking at multiple somethings or someone's, their sameness with each other. And that means I'm not interpreting or analyzing a surface. I'm being. I'm resting. And I'm trusting. I'm trusting that all the separate components on what appears to be the surface will get arranged and taken care of. I'm trusting that all the actors in the scene will be provided with their lines and their stage instructions by Holy Spirit. They could be provided with their stage directions and their lines and their actions, their props by ego. That's always my choice. Or Holy Spirit can provide all of that for them. That's always my choice. What's the same in us all? Spirit. What's the same wherever you go? What's within everyone and everything? What's the true nature of everyone and everything? Spirit. The light of Spirit. Love. What's true about us together? Harmony. And our fingers on the pulse. It's there. We're close to it. It steps forward and makes itself known when we agree to allow it. But if I'm busy saying what's possible and what's impossible based on the analysis and interpretation that my ego does, then I'm confused, and I can feel it. I can feel the edge of that. I can feel the tension of that. So my job is to feel the dysfunction, because I want to know when it's coming up. And then it's to understand that this feeling is the opportunity to kind of kneel down, go into Spirit and say, I've become aware that I'm currently insane, because I must have believed a thought from ego, or I couldn't be feeling this tension. So let me just rest here and have you, Spirit, turn me in the right direction. With practice, it gets easier and easier to do. But in my experience, it does take practice to value stopping frequently. Because the ego is going to tell us when we're in the middle of a busy situation that we don't have that time to stop and reorient. And so we just keep kind of going along with that tension and stress and fear. And we might not have even recognized that before as tension, stress, and fear. We might have just seen it as our social functioning. And when you're functioning socially, you're performing and you're just kind of getting through it till it's over, right? But if you notice, you can feel a space, tension in it. Instead of attention to what we are and letting that be in charge, you can feel a tension in the social interaction. And that's the opportunity. That's our training ground. That's where we get to practice. And we do often have a moment to go quiet, to let go of the idea that we're running things, to take one breath, to remember that as we truly are, we're all the same. To remember that sanity, true and shared, real sanity, not comparative sanity, but our actual sanity, which is buried under all the illusion I wanted to see. The sanity we share is here, and almost at my command, or as I allow it, feels a little softer. It beams forth, but I need to practice. And that's what life is for. Time and space life, it's for practicing. When you don't feel good, it's always because the truth is hidden. So it's fun to read in a discussion group. I've been using that as a practice. And to notice every single time I feel subtly not good about what I perceive to be someone's attitude. It's good quiet practice because you can just stop each time. If you look at every comment made in a conversation, you do have the time when it's on social media like that to stop. And you don't have to visibly react or become involved at all. You can just read it and stop every time you don't feel good and take a breath. And to notice, number one, I don't feel good. And number two, the truth is hidden right now. And number three, I always have a spark of willingness within me. And I'm willing to see all my divine siblings as they are. I'm willing to allow them to step forward. I'm willing to value what's real here. And I'm willing to abandon the valuing of anything that isn't real. All the time and space things that we value, that it hurts to value. But when we value what is real, we allow what is real to step forth. I'm receiving this very much as my lesson, that I'm not pretending the character understands it or is doing it successfully. I'm receiving it as my lesson and seeing, yes, here's the opportunity. I can do this. And I do this to some extent, like in discussion groups, using it as a way to look at, is there reactivity here, and what can we do when the reactivity comes up? It's a good practice for in daily life and in-person conversation, because when it's just in written form, you can slow down. You get that time to practice. And what is that truth that's hidden when I don't feel good? The beingness of every actor is the same beingness. Every being is innocent. And when I feel disturbed, my ego is making pronouncements about persons and bodies, and talking about the past, and having expectations of persons and bodies as they're showing up. And all of those expectations are based on the past. So I can give the ego its hearing, its airing, right? I can find out when I don't feel good, what did I just believe? That guy is full of himself. That guy is pushy, or whoever it is. And then I realize, oh, I'm covering up the truth. The truth about that being. I don't need to stop and analyze how the character appears right now, because we actually make if we believe thoughts and we make the world we experience with those thoughts. I know this seems unlikely, but this is an experience we're giving ourselves, and the experience is built out of thought. And it seems each one of our perspectives is, coming from a different angle. We're having different perspectives, but I make the characters act out for me. So I always have to go back to the source of the dysfunction to let go of the dysfunction. And I don't want to be hiding the truth, because hiding the truth doesn't feel good. It's just that simple. So if I find myself talking about the other guy and the tendencies or the dysfunctions of the other guy, I have an opportunity. It's just an opportunity. Okay, the truth is what you allow. So there's everything beneficial to be allowed. In every situation, there's everything harmonic to be allowed. I can attach to what the ego is saying, and I can experience a trajectory that matches what my ego thoughts are saying, but it's optional. I can also stop and tune into the harmony of us, because as beings we're always harmonic, and there's nothing that can change that. There's not a single thing I can do to change the innocence that we share as beings. We're not talking about what we're watching and experiencing as persons and bodies, identifying as and with that. I'm talking about as beings. There's not a single thing I can do to change the harmony that we're held in. So if I'm just kind of willing to admit, well, I've been making all these characters act out for me. I've been making the world I experience with thought, and that's taken various forms. But the truth of us is our harmony. And I'm willing to allow that to make itself obvious. I see how it wouldn't be a problem. I wouldn't lose out if seeing you step forward harmonically with everyone around you, because the same would be happening for me. So I wouldn't lose anything by allowing that. So the truth is present, and it's real. And in the landscape of what we wanted to see, that's time and space, what we wanted to see. I believe what I see, and I believe it because I want to see it. So when all I want to see is not being right about someone's a certain way, so I kind of want to keep seeing them being that way. If my ego has called them, you're this way, you're that way, then in order to be right, I have to keep seeing that in them. But that's not who they are at all. What they are is what we share. What they are as a being is the sanity we share. And all of us have the power to allow everyone to step forth in and as and guided by, carried by the sanity that we share. If I'm going to stay in comparative land and claim comparative sanity for myself and then judge who amongst you is insane compared to me, well, then I'm going to see what I believe, and I'm going to believe it because I want to see it. I want a world in which one can be sane and another can be insane. I want a world in which one can be guilty and another different one can be innocent. But that can't be the truth of our being. Our being is without opposite. The being we share is innocence without opposite eternally. Power without opposite eternally. Benign power. Love without opposite eternally. Grace without opposite eternally. Truth without opposite eternally. Light without opposite eternally. That's us. That's what we are. And it is possible for me to see what I believe and believe it because I want to see it. If I have no reason to see you superior or inferior to anyone else, but I just want to let the sameness of the truth of you and everyone step forward and extend and make itself known, then that's all of us wanting the best for all of us. And when that's what I really want, over and above anything else, then that's what gets the chance to make itself, it forms itself, a reflection of that forms itself in symbols and shows itself to us. It's like an art project. So this is how we give to everyone. We give what we would want for ourselves, and I'm not referring to a physical giving, but inspiration guides you. Maybe you're giving physically. You don't know. You don't know what you're going to do yet. It comes in the form of thoughts that guide. Everything you want is contained in everything you can give to all of your divine siblings. So if you want to be fully supported, and you think, would I like to step into a world where I see everyone around me fully supported, I don't have to figure out the how of that. That's not my job. What comes into sight is just what I want to see. Think of phenomenality, time and space, as being so flexible and malleable and obedient to what you want to see. And you can get a little freaked out at first, recognizing, like, I wanted to see this degree of strife. Yeah, I did, because I got myself so caught up in the idea that it's possible that these opposites are real. And if I have some of a good opposite, that's good for me, but somebody else over there is going to be lacking it. So in order to have, someone else has to lack. And with a complete change of thinking, with a complete change of how you see it, everyone can be fully supported now. That can come into sight very quickly, because we all have the ability together, because the only power anyone really has is benign power. The world shows up as you want it to show up. Very quickly, it can show you that everyone is loved. Every being is loving. Every being is peaceful. It can happen quickly in a way we don't have to fear. We don't have to fear that. Yes, it's change. We will see change. But if it's change of a being, remembering what the being is and what all beings are, so what you see and experience has to change to match that as you remember. You're provided for, you're loved, you're supported, you're cared for. You yourself care. You're harmonic. You're connected, you're joined. You're light, you're love. And so is everyone else. And this isn't some hippie crap. It's not some toxic positivity, because it's not a positivity. It doesn't oppose anything. It's the simple truth of our shared being. And we made the illusion of time and space to forget the simplicity and the power of our shared being. But apparently we're remembering now. We're remembering together. And as we remember, quite naturally, the world reflects what we're remembering about us all. And it doesn't matter how it looks right now, how dire it looks in any one sector. That's just reflecting back to us, look, this is what you wanted to see. And so you're seeing it. And from here, where do we go from here? What do you want? What do you want to see? Today I've been reorienting toward a lesson in A Course in Miracles. My sinlessness protects me from all harm. So seeing all beings as sinless and all beings protected fully from all harm because of their sinlessness. And then looking out at time and space and understanding I make that with the thoughts I believe. We have every reason to pay attention when we don't feel good because we just believed a thought that pretends to oppose truth. Truth is actually unopposed, but the illusion of time and space is where we can seem to observe opposition to the truth. And when we feel done with that, then that's when we can give truly to all of our divine siblings. We can give them their beinghood. I know you're a being. I know you're not a body. I know you're not a person. I remember that you're light. I remember that you're love. I remember that we're harmonic. And I'm willing to allow time and space to reflect that back to me very purely. And I'm willing to practice every day. It's very simple. Very simple. That's never going to be hard. Our little part is not hard. What seems to be hard is understanding and waking up out of the confusion, the loop of confusion I keep re-entering. But the more I practice, the easier and easier it gets. So, thank you for you, and wishing you well.